The Bloodline just hinted at another major story direction, so we'll get into those teasers. We'll also check out what's new for Rey Mysterio, Cody Rhodes, and more. Starting things off with Cody Rhodes and his next challenger, which will be another meeting with AJ Styles. Cody and AJ met at Backlash just a few weeks back, but the strange part about the entire situation was that everything ended there in a pretty respectable way. The loss was still hard on AJ Styles, and he tried talking to Nick Aldis for several weeks about getting one more title opportunity. But Nick explained that it just couldn't be done, which eventually led to AJ coming up with a new plan that we saw him execute on May 31st. AJ Styles had asked Nick Aldis for some time on the show to address his future and retirement. AJ had the main event segment of the show, but actually baited everyone into thinking he was retiring. He even invited Cody Rhodes out to the ring to talk about how glad he was that his last match was against Cody. Cody even started crying in the ring. But as soon as Cody's going around and lifting AJ's arm to the corner of the arena, AJ knocks him out, revealing that the whole thing was fake and just a trap to get Cody out there. Also in the plans were Gallows and Anderson. Gallows and Anderson have been AJ's loyal right-hand men for a very long time, but they haven't been with him for the last few months since AJ returned. This fake retirement segment has fixed that matter and officially reunited the club back together as a heel faction again. Gallows and Anderson were in on the whole entire thing, and fully back with AJ going forward. The only member of the club that has their status up in the air right now is Mia Yim. She joined the club a while back and has been with them ever since, but it clearly looks like she was left out of the plans for AJ's fake retirement segment. So it looks like the whole situation that will most definitely get addressed in the upcoming few editions of SmackDown. Maybe Mia Yim wants nothing to do with the group anymore, since they all once again turned heel, or maybe she'll decide to link up with them still. That's still something that should be addressed real soon. But the fake retirement segment from May 31st was nearly identical to the Mark Henry fake retirement segment from 2013. Henry came out for that segment being very emotional and talking about hanging up his boots. The current WWE champion at the time, John Cena, came out to the ring to congratulate Mark Henry on his career and lifted his arm all around the ring. But instead, Cena received a world's strongest slam from Mark Henry, which made the grand reveal that Henry was lying all along. That segment with Mark Henry and John Cena was a very memorable and iconic one. The moment between AJ and Cody was good as well, but it's just always going to be compared to its predecessor with Henry and Cena. But AJ's fake retirement absolutely appears to be a setup for the second meeting between AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes, with the difference this time being that AJ Styles is an even bigger threat this time around than he was at Backlash. Now he's extremely more desperate to win the WWE title. He went as low to fake his own retirement. He reunited with Gallows and Anderson. So you could argue that AJ Styles is much different and more dangerous than the Backlash one. So they took a one-match break with the match with Logan Paul, but Cody and Styles is picking back up again with all these new differences for AJ's character. Following Carlito's recent betrayal, WWE fans have been pointing out an insane amount of people that have turned on Rey Mysterio throughout his career. It's becoming a meme that anyone standing by Rey Mysterio will eventually turn on him at some point. Well, Rey Mysterio recently spoke with Bleacher Report, and he was directly asked about the topic of so many people turning their backs on him, and why does it happen so much? Rey Mysterio had this to say in response to that question, quote, "I'm too friendly with people, and because I don't know how to get mad and I can't be the bad guy, even at home. My wife sometimes tells me, you have to show them a little bit more attitude. I'm just so chill. I'm so relaxed. I can't change that character I've been for so many years, my whole life. I always end up trusting the wrong people, and that's my problem. Maybe one day I'll just snap and go crazy." End quote. So Rey is saying that it simply happens because he's just so friendly with everyone. Rey did tease something very interesting there at the end, when he said he just has to snap one day and go crazy. And that honestly may be an interesting story and direction that WWE may want to play with in the future. Rey has been backstabbed by his family and close friends for decades upon decades at this point. So if there ever comes a time where he's just sick of dealing with people and doesn't trust them anymore, it'll be completely understandable given everything he's been through over the years. And if he does snap and go crazy because of that reason, it could show us a side of Rey Mysterio that we've never seen before. Whether it's a heel side of Rey Mysterio or a bit more edgy babyface version, it would be a very nice change for WWE to use this long list of betrayals to potentially push Rey into this new era for the last remaining years of his in-ring career. The Bloodline story took some interesting turns this week that all started with a backstage segment. In this segment, we see Heyman echoing some of the same things he's been saying to Solo over the last few weeks. He reflected on the Bloodline success over the years, and under Roman's leadership, saying that every decision Roman ever made was carefully thought out with him, and Heyman spending a long time discussing the matters. Heyman said that under Solo's current leadership, the Bloodline is just committing a lot of violent acts, with not that much proper thought or counsel being put behind them. Heyman gave his quick advice to Solo, that the Bloodline should be keeping Cody Rhodes in check for Roman Reigns. And that's when Solo told Heyman that we were keeping Cody in check without Cody even knowing it. This made Paul Heyman freak out because he didn't know what Solo meant by we. But Solo's use of we appears to be a clear indication that Solo and The Rock are very much still in communication with each other, and that The Rock is most likely the we Solo's referring to. Solo's keeping an eye on Cody for The Rock, not for Roman. It was made clear on the Raw after WrestleMania that The Rock will be gunning for Cody Rhodes once he returns. So to hear Solo saying what he's saying, and the fact that Cody's on the same brand as the Bloodline, it looks like it's not out of the realm of possibility to think that The Rock probably gave some orders to Solo Sikoa to quietly keep an eye on Cody Rhodes for him. Ever since Solo took over and started bringing in new members into the Bloodline, a big popular fan theory was that those decisions weren't Solo's, but actually could have been The Rock's. And with Solo's recent use of the word we, that just added more fuel to the fan theory that The Rock is actually the one calling all the recent Bloodline shots from behind the scenes. It also appears that Paul Heyman is now transitioning into becoming a babyface character. Heyman was there warning Kevin Owens to just step away from the Bloodline-related matters, because how Solo was bringing in these sadistic criminal thugs into the group. Heyman tried telling him father to father, man to man, to just protect himself and leave them alone. But Kevin Owens thought it was Paul Heyman being his usual self with a trick up his sleeve. But in reality, there was no trick. Paul Heyman wasn't manipulating Owens in any way. He was being a literal and genuine babyface with Kevin Owens and trying to give him an actual warning. But given Paul Heyman's history, Kevin Owens doesn't really listen to him and just keeps assuming it's all a ploy. Even during a Bloodline match, Paul Heyman didn't stand at ringside. He stayed basically in cover behind the Timekeeper's area. Despite him still technically being Solo's Wiseman, you can tell that Paul Heyman doesn't agree with a single thing that this new Bloodline is doing right now and is very much an outsider. However, it looks like Paul Heyman will stay in their corner being terrified until Roman Reigns saves him and gets him out of there. There's still some return rumors circulating about a potential July return for Roman Reigns. So if that turns out to be true, it's not far away at all. Maybe in late June or early July episode of SmackDown, we'll see Solo and the Bloodline put their hands on Heyman, and maybe that's what leads towards Roman's return and him making the big save for Heyman. So keep an eye on that storyline because things could really start picking up now if Roman is truly coming back in July. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.